Fans of the Greenlight products and classic movie buffs, what a perfect combination we have here today to show you. The Steve McQueen BULLITT series Hollywood Film Reels set, just released to the stores not too long ago. Here's a little blurb on the background of the movie. You can pause that and read about it if you're not familiar with this amazing classic car chase movie. And a little bit of information also on the two cars that are truly the stars along with Steve McQueen in this movie. Pause on that a little bit if you want to hear about how these cars were able to deal with the San Francisco jumps and hills back in a time when special effects weren't around and cars truly were raced to their absolute maximum capacity. So we're going to be looking at all the cars in this tin set out in the open. First we'll look at the packaging, as well as a two-car set that was released 5 years ago in 2010 by Greenlight. And we're going to look at the slight differences there from the new set. And I've got one of the individual packaged Greenlight movie pieces here. I don't have the Dodge Charger, but I think it was just released, so I'm going to have to pick that one up. But I think essentially it's going to be the same as the one you're going to find in the tin set. Although I did notice the wheels will be more correct. We'll get more into that in a minute here as we look at the cars. I'm going to open it up because it's really kind of hard to see with all this reflective plastic packaging. But as you can see, here are the cars that come with it. And a very nice, attractive box packaging. Very sturdy. And it opens up quite nicely as well. It's got a piece of plastic in there, which you don't need to see. So the tin lid is off of the cars initially, so obviously you can see it if you're in the store. But the tin fits on it quite nicely. And you've got a whole bunch of the same info that was on the back of the box, so you don't have to actually keep all that cardboard. You still get a really nice, attractive, all-metal 4-car collector tin set. We're going to look at the other car sets too that I had out on the table, but let's first take a look at these in the package here, just quick. Again, very limited view to see the cars while in the packaging, so we are going to take all those out and have a look at them on the old turntable. This one was from 2010, so this is not a new piece. It's pretty hard to come by nowadays. Even more so now that if you're looking online, all you're going to find when you look up BULLITT for the most part is this newer tin set. This was a recent release of the Steve McQueen 67 Ford Custom. This is the taxi. We've seen this in my other videos, but really cool car. And just a quick look at all 4 cars together here for scale purposes. And a quick overview. You can just see how nice this group looks together. These are all authentic movie cars as well. We'll get into a little bit more of the details of the castings and of their part in the movies in just a minute, but first we're going to look at the 2 cars from the 2-pack back in 2010 side by side, and then we'll get into the rest of the details here. And much like in the movie, Steve McQueen chasing the Charger here with his 68 Mustang GT. You can see that the 2 cars look slightly different than the ones from the 4-car set. And let's get into a little bit more of the details. The first thing that's obvious is that the Charger in this set has been damaged by its guardrail interaction, where it lost 2 hubcaps and got a big scrape down the side of it. And on this car, it features a dusty paint job, more of an emerald green than the deep metallic in the recent release, as well as a few bullet holes from the shotgun on the windshield. So pretty cool little collection. Seeing that Steve McQueen is the star of the show as well as his Mustang, we'll look at those first. Here is the recent release. You can see it's got a bit of an emerald green paint, more of a metal flake I should say, whereas this one's more of an emerald green. And also it's got a dusting along the bottom of the car, which happened while the car chase was happening. He took a dive off the highway at one point, did a big spin out to avoid a crashing motorcycle. So very cool details. The rims are very authentic on this car, as is the license plate. It's the same license plate as in the movie, not surprising for Greenlight quality and detail. Now with both the cars and their hoods open, you can see a strange little variation here. One's got the blue motor, one's got the silver motor, so that's the only difference really, other than the slight paint change color in the green and the damage and dusting. On the bottom of the 2-pack 2010 edition, I've got a serial number release of 6,814, and on the 4-pack tin set, it's got 203. Now looking at the awesome Dodge Charger, from the first side you can see they both look pretty much exactly the same until you spin around. You've got the pre-damaged version and the post-damaged version. Otherwise, pretty much identical cars. Same details are included as is in the Mustang, same correctly numbered license plate, and no differences there. The one thing I did notice with this car is that these hubcaps are not the actual hubcaps on the car in the movie, but the single release of this Dodge Charger, which is now out and I'm going to be picking up shortly, does feature the correct hubcaps. The problem with these ones here is that they're more of a deep dish rally rim, I believe, because I've got an 80s car with very similar, almost Cragar looking rally wheels. They're not Cragar, but you know what I mean. Whereas you can see these ones would have actually had hubcaps snapped over the steel rim. So it's not quite correct even on this 2010 version, because it too features the 5-spoke deep dish rims. Anyways, otherwise a really cool casting. And let's not be too nitpicky, it's just amazing to have cars released from the movies that are this detailed. One more small detail I just noticed is the silver trim around the rear of the 2010 edition versus the lack of it around the recent release. And now we'll swing them around to have a look at the motors, which also, just like the Mustang, feature an interesting color variation. The new one being orange and the old one having a green engine block. Here's the 2010 version showing over 10,000 released, and who knows how high it'll go with the recent 4-car set. I guess popularity will dictate that to some extent. And here's the classic Volkswagen Beetle that we saw in the initial part of the chase scene, where the Mustang and Charger come flying over the San Francisco hills, basically right in the city. This Volkswagen's in the way, and they just barely get around it. So pretty cool that here it is as part of the collection, because it does have a fairly minor significant role as part of that car chase. So very cool to have that one. And as I mentioned, it has a plastic base. It's the only one here in this 4-car set. No opening features, but I think it makes up for it in all the detail and those awesome white wall Real Rider tires that it features. And now looking at the 67 Ford Custom, this car was featured as part of the chase, but only as a car that was parked at the side of the road. You just barely see it for a few minutes, or a few seconds really, and that's it out of the whole 8-minute chase. But it's still really cool, nice piece to add to the collection, and authentic movie car really. Even though it wasn't even a driving featured car, it was in the movie. And you know me, I love my big old 4-door boats. So I got 3 of those Sunshine Taxis to look at. But first, looking at the engine under the hood, it's the same blue block as the recent Sunshine Cabs version. And cool that they got a hubcap variation here. Nice little collection of cars to add to the Bullitt series. Hopefully they'll be releasing more of these. I really do enjoy these classic movie car representations that Greenlight does.